Hello everyone, my name is S. Balamurugan. Now I am doing UG second year in Dr. S. RAJALAKSHMI College of Arts and Science. Today I am going to explain about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an intelligence demonstrated by machines as opposed to a natural intelligence displayed by animals including humans. Leading AI textbooks defines the field as a study of intelligent agents, any system that environment and takes actions that maximize its chance of achieving its goals. Some popular accountants use the term word artificial intelligence to describe machines that the mimic functions that human associate with the human mind, such as learning and problem solving. However, this defense is rejected by major AI researchers. AI application includes advanced web search engines, for example Google, recommendation system used by YouTube, Amazon and Netflix, understanding human speech such as Siri and Alexa, self-driving car for example Tesla, frequently extended from the things considered to be AI having become routine technology. Artificial intelligence was founded as an academic discipline in 1956, and it is the year since has been experienced several waves of optimism followed by disappointment and the loss of funding known as AI winter, followed by the new approaches success, renewed funding. AI researchers have tried and declared many different approaches since its founding, including simulating the brain, model, modeling human problem solving, formal logic, large database of knowledge, and imitating animal behavior. In the first decade of 21st century, highly mathematical statistical machine learning has dominated the field, and in the technique has provided highly successful, helping to solve many challenging problems throughout industry and academy. The various subfields of AI research are centered around the particular goals and use of particular tools. The traditional goals of AI research including reasoning, knowledge representation, planning, learning, natural language processing, proportion, the ability of move and manipulate objects. AI also draws upon computer science, psychology, linguistics, philosophy, and many other fields. History. The study of mechanical or formal reasoning began with the philosopher and mathematician in antiquity. The study of mathematical logic led directly to Alan Turing theory of computation, which suggested that a machine, by shuffling symbols as simple as 0 and 1, that simulate any conceivable act of mathematical deduction. This said that digital computers can simultaneously process of formal reasoning is known as Turing thesis. The Turing thesis, along with the concurrent discoveries in neurobiology, information theory, and cybernetics, led researchers to consider the possibility of building electron brain. The first work that is now generally recognized as AI was Pitt's 1943 form design of Turing complete artificial neurons. When access to digital computers became possible in the year 1950, AI research begins to explore the possibility that a human intelligence could be reduced to step by step simple manipulation known as symbolic AI. Approaches based on artificial neuron networks were abandoned or pushed into the background. The field of AI was born at the workshop of Dartmouth College in 1956. The attendees became the founders and the leaders of AI research, and they and their students produced programs that the press described as astonishing. Researchers in 1960s and 70s were convinced the symbolic approaches would eventually succeed in the creating a machine with artificial general intelligence and consideration with the goal of their field. Herbert Simon predicted machine will be capable with 20 years of doing any work a man can do. They failed to recognize the difficulty of some of the remaining tasks. Progress slowed and in 1947 and 74 in response to the criticism of Sir James Lighthill and ongoing pressure from the US Congress to fund more protective projects. Both the US and British government cut off exploratory research in AI. The next few years would be the later be called as AI winter, a period when when op- when obtaining fund for AI projects was difficult. In the early 1980s, AI research was received by the commercial success of expert system, a form of AI program that simulated the knowledge and analytical skills of human experts. By 1985, the market of AI had reached over $1 billion. At the same time, Japan's fifth generation computer projects inspired the US and British government to restore fund and academic research. However, begins the collapse of LIPS machine market in 1987, AI once again fell into the disrepute and a second longer wasting winter began. AI gradually restored its reputation in late 1990s and early 21st century by finding specific solutions to specific problems. The narrow focus allowed researchers to produce productive variable results, explores more mathematical methods, and collaborate with other fields. Faster computers, algorithmic improvements, and access to large amount of data enabled advances in machine learning and precision. Projects that use within Google increased for a usage in 2012 to more than 2,700 projects. Numerous academic researchers became concerned that AI was no longer pursuing the original goals of creating versatile, fully intelligent machines. Much of current research involves statistical AI, which is overwhelming to solve specific problems even in successful techniques such as deep learning. This is concern has led to the subfield artificial central intelligence, which had several well funded institutions by the year 2010. Goals. The general problem of simulating or creating intelligence has been broken down into sub problems. These consist of particular traits or capabilities that researchers, experts, and intelligence system to display. The traits described below have received the most attention. Reasoning, problem solving. Early researchers developed algorithms that imitated step by step reasoning that the human use when they solve puzzles or make logic deduction. By the late 1980s and 1990s. Knowledge representation. AI has developed tools to represent specific domains such as objects, properties, categories, and relations between objects, situation, events, state and time, cause of and events, knowledge about knowledge, what we know about what others know, default reasoning, things that humans assume are truly until they told differently and will remain true even when other facts are changing, as well as other domains. Planning. An intelligent agent that can plan, make a representation of state of the world, makes prediction of how their actions will change it, and makes choices that maximize the utility of value available choices. In classical planning problems, the agent can assume that it is the only system acting in the world, requires that the agent reasoning under uncertainty and continuously reassess its environment and adapt. Learning. Machine learning, a fundamental concept of AI research, since the fields inspection is the study of computer algorithms that improve automatically through experience. Unsupervised learning find patterns in stream of inputs. Supervised learning requires human to label input data first and comes in the two main varieties: classification or and numerical regression. From the text of an email is one of the two categories: spam or not spam. The agent classifies its response to form a strategy for operating it is the problem space. Transfer learning is when knowledge gained from one problem is applied to a new problem. The solution for many problem is to use a rule of thumb that prioritize choice in favor of those more likely to reach a goal and do shorter number of steps for the path on which the solution lies. Limit the search for the solution into a smaller sample size. A particle swarm seeking the global minimum. A very different kind of search came to attend in the 1990s based on the mathematical theory of optimization. For many problems, it is possible to begin with the search with some form of guess and then refine the guess incrementally until no more references can be made. Two popular swarm algorithms used in the search and particle swarm optimization inspired by bird flocking and any colony and ant colony optimization inspired by the traits. Logic. Logic is used for knowledge representation and problem solving, but it can be applied to other problems as well. For example, algorithm use logics for planning and inductive logic programming is a method for learning. Several different forms of logic are used in AI research. Propositional logic involves truth functions such as or and not. First order logic adds quantifiers and predictors and can express facts about the objects, their properties, and the relationship with the others. Situation clauses, even clausened fluent clauses, belief clauses, and model logics. Logics to model or statement arising in multi-agent system have also been designed such as logics classifier and statistical learning method. The simplest AI application can be divided into two types: classifier and controllers. Controllers do, however, also classify conditions before the interfering actions, and therefore classification forms a central part of many AI system. Classifier are functions that used to pattern use in AI. These examples are known as abbreviations or patterns. In supervised learning, each patterns belong to a certain predefined class. A class is a decision that has to be made. All the observations combined with their class labels are known as dataset. When a new observation is received, the observation classified based on the previous experience. The classifier can trained in various ways. There are many statistical and machine learning approaches. The decision tree is the simplest and most widely used symbolic machine learning algorithm. K nearest neighbor algorithm was the most widely and analogical AI until the mid 1990s. Kernel methods such as support vector machines SVM displaced K nearest neighbor in 1990s. Deep learning. Deep learning uses several layers of neuron between their networks inputs and outputs. The multiple layer can be progressively expert higher level features from the raw input. For example, in image processing, lower level may identify edges while higher layer may identify the concept relevant to the human such as digits or number or faces. Deep learning has drastically improved the performance of programs in many important subfields or artificial intelligence, including computer vision, speech recognition, image classification, and others. Deep learning often use conclusions neural networks for many of the layers. In layers, each neuron receives inputs from any restricted area of previous layer called as the neuron respective field. This can substantially reduce the number of weight connections between neuron and create a hierarchy similar to the organization of the animal visual cortex. Application in 2010, AI applications were at the heart of the most commercial successful areas of computing and have become the feature of daily life. AI is used to research engines such as Google Research targeting on online advertisement recommendation systems offered by Netflix, YouTube, Amazon. Driving interested traffic, targeted advertising, Facebook, virtual assistants such as Siri and Alexa, autonomous vehicles including drones and self-driving cars. A few examples are energy storage, deep fakes, medical diagnosis, military logistics, or supply chain management. Philosophy. Turing test, Dartmouth workshop, and synthetic intelligence. Alan Turing wrote in 1950, I propose to consider the question, can machines think? He advised changing the question from whether the machine thinks to whether or not it is possible for machinery to show intelligent behavior. The only thing visible is the behavior of the machine, so it does not matter if the machine is conscious or has a mind, or whether intelligent is a merely simulation and not the real thing. He noticed that we also don't know how these things about the other people, but that we are extend a polite convention that they are actually thinking. This idea forms the basis of Turing test. Acting humanly versus acting intelligently. Intelligent agents. AI founders John McCarthy said artificial intelligence is not by definition simulation of human intelligence. Russell and Norweg agrees they criticize the Turing test. They wrote aeronautical fool other pigeons. Other researchers can analyze disagree and have argued that AI should simulate natural intelligence by studying psychology and neurobiology. The intelligent agent paradigm defines intelligent behavior in general without reference to human behavior and human beings. An intelligent agent is a system that previses its environment, take actions that maximize its chance of success. Any system that has a goal directed behavior can be analyzed as an intelligent agent. The paradigm has other advantages of AI. It provides a reliable and scientific way to test programs. Researchers can directly compare or even combine different approaches to isolated problems by asking which agent is best at maximizing a given goal function. It is also that it is also gives them a common language to communicate with the other fields, such as mathematical optimization, which is defined in the terms of goals, or economics, which is use the same definition of a rational agent. Thank you for spending your valuable time to look after my video. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Thanking you.